And then we probably need a shadow to go down here. So again, I'm going to go to the Flying Wand shadow, which is already in my hand right here. So if I want to adjust, or if I want to create another shadow, I'm probably going to do it on a different layer so I can make these micro adjustments. This shadow is for the hand. I'm going to create a new layer here, call it Flying Shadow Floor. And then at the bottom here, I'm going to make a big brush, just kind of lightly dash something in this neighborhood. Maybe right here. And then I'm going to use a layer mask, and I'm going to change my blending mode. Again, the blending mode is just the way that we can kind of see through this layer. So oftentimes we can just use soft light and it will retain the tones but make them darker or brighter if we use soft light. I'm going to use my layer mask. I kind of make sure that thumbnail is selected, and then I'll go with the brush tool again, and I'll paint on with black just to kind of soften this up and then make it fit kind of how the shape would be of someone floating above it. So it looks like it's mostly going to be more to this direction. So I'm going to flip the brushes a little bit and then come back with a gradient there. That looks pretty good. Something that looks not too much circular, but kind of has a similar shape. Now that makes me look like I'm like so far down, you know what I mean? So it looks a little weird. But the benefit of having a separate layer for the shadow is I can go to the move tool, and now I can actually move that shadow around anywhere I want to. Right? So if I had that with my hand shadow, I wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do that. Another thing, my friend, who had it? Parker had it, right? You had the hand floating. That's you, right? Yeah. Hand floating. All right, let's do some dismembered body parts of Juan. All right. So what you want to do is very similar to this one, where you create a new copy of this particular raw file. So let's take Juan again here, this one. And what I'm going to do is right-click on the layer name, and it's going to bring up this menu, and we're going to do New Smart Object via Copy. And the reason we do this is because if you recall, smart objects are essentially raw files inside Photoshop. If we were just to copy one smart object, it would just reproduce that same raw file. So it doesn't really help us. We need to create another raw file in there. So I'll do New Smart Object via Copy. And now, if I use my Move tool, I can grab this one here, and now there's two of me here, right? So Parker really wanted to take my hand off, and I'll let you do that, Parker. But I'm going to do something in between what Jack has done, where Jack put me into a giant hole. I'm going to take my legs off here and possibly put them into another hole over here. I'm not sure. So how I would do that, there's a couple different ways I could do that. One of the easiest ways, anybody want to take a guess?
Cloning?
No.
Oh.
Nope. If I have a layer mask here and I just want to hide my legs, or reveal my legs and hide everything else, what do? Just brush them out, right? And if I wanted to, yeah, I could do this and make it look like something like that, right there. Now if I wanted to, I'll create a new layer, and this one's going to go on top, and this is going to be Jack's Unending Pit of Despair. I don't think I spelled that right. Despair, yeah, it's close enough. Right? So now I'm going to draw a circle. I can do this a couple different ways. I can use Shape Tool. I can try and make a really hard edge brush. Let's see. I'm going to do, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to create with an ellipses, maybe something like this. And with that selection there, I can move it around as long as I see that arrow with the white box. I got a new layer here. I can literally go in and use my paint bucket and just dump the black in there, hit Command D, and what you'll see is I have a nice really sharp edge here, which we can always feather and make it a little bit softer. Specifically when I use a layer mask on top of this, I can always feather it right here, and what you'll see is nothing happened because I haven't made any selections yet. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's bring this in. And there are so many different ways you can do this. But I just chose this one right now because I thought it might be a good way to start. So I'm going to go ahead and make this. Another thing you could do is go right down to this layer mask right here, hold down Command, and then make a selection from it. And now I can draw anywhere on the inside, it looks like here, because I have this selected. So if I wanted to get rid of anything, I can come with the black brush here and then brush that away. And then vice versa is also true. So if I wanted to add anything on the outside, I can do select inverse, and then now it selects the outside. So I can come back in here with a white brush, and now I have created this kind of limit, so to speak, of where I can actually get that, right?
Could you make it where the top half view is coming out of another hole? So it's
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to deselect this here, and now it's not looking totally great here. So, and the reason I say that is because we could probably make this hole look a little bit more convincing. Because, like,
it looks kind of cartoonish.
oh, it's totally cartoonish, right? What do you think we need to convince people that this is a hole? What should we do?
Difference in value.
What's that?
Difference in value.
Yeah, absolutely. A gradient of some sort, right? So let's try and let's do, I'm just going to do a regular polygonal lasso here. Let's say I take this thing, and if we're coming from this angle, I'm just going to do something rough here right quick. Okay, and so I made this general selection, right? That's based off of this hole right here. Bye all. So I have this. What I'm looking to do is make just the selection of this. Have a good night. Of this circle. So I have selected within this. You know what I could do is go right up here to select, and we have a lot of different options, but we could try and do color range. Okay, so we go in here and we do a color range, meaning I select a color and it highlights just that area, and I hit OK. Look what happens. Boom. It only selects the black or whatever I pointed at in that particular selection that I had. So instead of selecting all of this other stuff here, it just selected within that previous selection. So it's a pretty slick way to do this. What I'm going to do now is, let's see, let me create a new layer. Yeah, new layer, and I'm going to do a whole gradient. And again, there's probably 1,000 ways to do this that I am right now just winging it. So we're going to do a gradient on this one, and we're going to start from this color here, and then we're going to end, and that's where I'm choosing foreground and background. We're going to end maybe with this darker color here. So now I'm going to go to my gradient tool here and draw down like this. It doesn't look that great. Maybe I'll try a circular one. That might be better. Reverse it so. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want. I'll just go back to the linear one. That's pretty good right there because I just want something light to dark. There we go. That's pretty good. Pretty close. So the reason I did that here, I'm going to go ahead and deselect this, is so that I can potentially blend. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to take the black hole here, and I am going to try and make this blend in. Let's see if this works. It looks all right. So I'll do darken. I'll come back in here and I'm going to use a softer brush and try and, oops. Inverse. So now I'm just blurring that hard edge line up a little bit, trying to make it look a little more. I'm going to deselect, then I'm going to, and then this circle that's here, I'm actually going to blur this one a little bit. Just regular old-fashioned filter blur. So this is some like hardcore special effects stuff that I wouldn't usually do. Softening the edge there. You know, one thing I should do with this, I'm going to select both of these, go to my move tool, and it looks too, the circle doesn't match the perspective here, so it's bothering me. So I'm going to distort this a little bit by bringing in this way, this way.
It looks like though you're gonna bang your legs badly as you go in.
I might. That's all right. It's not a real hole. It's Jack's pit of despair.
Mom's getting eaten by the blood.
I don't really like that either. But you get where I'm going. So a hole is not really the easiest thing to do, Jack. Let's see yours. What? Scroll up on yours, Jack. Oh, you took the easy way out.
It looks like Stonebuck.
You put me at the bottom. All right. I'm going for like in the middle of the everything. And you blurred it too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you did. All right.
Blurring is a thing I know how to do.
All right. All right, so now we've got the, we still have the comic book hole. That still just looks terrible. Let's go right here. Oop. Distort. That's looking better. All right. Does that look better for you? Everybody say yes, damn it.
No.
I hate you.
What's the difference between now and then?
You make a good point.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, so I'm just going to try and blend this in a little bit better. Shut up. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm just kidding. All right, let me put this on here. All right. Let me just get rid of this little thing right there. Maybe that's it. Yep. So I'm falling into Jack's pit of despair. And I basically, chopped myself in half that way just by using layer mask. So, Parker, did that kind of long form definition of how to take people apart make sense?
Yeah.
Did it seem pretty simple though?
Yeah.
Because that is pretty simple.
Only really had to use the first part.
I know. But there's other ways to do that too, which we'll get into.
For some reason, your hand is like a little bit see-through.
That could be your selection, that could be your opacity, it could be your brush skills on the layer mask. So go to the layer mask and look at the brush. Hold on Option and look at the layer mask. Click on it. Then ask yourself, did I screw up?
Doesn't look like it.
I think you might have. So I made another pair of holes here. I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to shrink it down. And then I'm going to maybe flip it. And then I'm going to take this one. And I'm going to go in here. And what am I choosing now off this menu? Say it with me now.
Smart object.
Via copy. Boom. Hole. Hole. So then I take this one and I'm going to zoom out real quick. Rotate it. It's not real Photoshop unless you make noise, kids. I just want to let you know that. While you're doing it, Jack, not just randomly.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, damn. Never mind then. So now, let's see here. Actually, you know what I should have done? I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. And that's the one I'm going to make a new smart object via copy. That's going to be hole. And I'm going to move this thing up here. And I'm going to grab this guy right here. Zoom out again. Shrink me down.
It's mini one.
Yep. Then flip horizontal. Yep. Trying to get out of the hole. Yep. Right about there. One thing I'll do, like since I have these files already, I'll just close these out because I don't need them anymore. Okay. That saves on some memory, makes things a little faster, and I don't need to save them because I already have them here. What I can do now is press the F button, and that creates a full frame like this, and that just makes it so it gives you as much real estate as possible. All right. If you want to get back to the original state, you hit F one more time, and it gives you the full image without any tools. Hit F one more time, and it gets you right back to the tab-based editing. So I typically operate in just that single F mode. So let's see here. I'm going to move this in. Now I'm just going to use a brush, and I'm going to be on a layer mask, and I'm going to start down here by removing all of this stuff. and oops, emerging from the depths of hell to teach you Photoshop stuffs. And then I'm going to go back to, which one is this one? This one right here. And shrink down. And then because this is technically behind this one, I could take all of these and move them right back here. Just move them down the layers. So the reason I'm doing this is because I've now hid that one. Does that make sense there to you, Garrett?
Yeah.
I moved them down the layer list, so now they're behind this one, so I can hide the hand back here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So I took it from above that layer to behind it, and it allowed that to be hidden behind that.
Yeah, you took the down under the one layer, so that way he could be like more in the background behind.
Right. So I'm going to shrink this down. I'm actually going to let go. Actually,
So
I'll shrink this down a little bit more.
the top layer like is what will be on top, kind of like a sandwich, and
Yep.
okay, and the bottom layer, as you go down, it goes into the background.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to take everything that's flying, including this, and I'll remove this is a shadow. Got the holes, sliding shadow floor. I'm going to organize these because they're not very well organized. So I got the upside down. These ones right here, I'm going to put them into a new group from layers, and this is upside down one. So this is again just a way to keep things organized, putting them in groups. This is Jack's hole. I'm going to move the flying one up to the top. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Because one of these is not correct. It's this one. This is not flying one. Copy that is legs hole. Alright. So flying one, shadow floor. This one is going to go into flying one. So keeping these all separated is just going to help kind of make it so that you can. Alright, so that's that one. So we got legs, hole, and then I'm going to this menu right here, new group from layers. We got legs, hole. Right, I don't think that's even an L there. Alright. So I'm just holding down shift, selecting all of these. New group from layers. Then body hole. Body hole. Sounds romantic, right? So now I have all of these. I can blink them on and off. They have the corresponding shadows or special effects. Now, for example, for this one, let's say I want to change the color of this shoe. I'm going to go to body hole here. I can click on the top layer of that body hole. I can add a new layer adjustment, and I can click on Hue Saturation. All right. Again, this has a clip down, so if I made any corrections here, it would affect everything below it. But if I clip down to the layer below this one, it will only affect that layer. So if I wanted to change blue, so I can look at the blues here, I can change, let's see if I can get it to go. Am I in the right one? Hole, 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 body hole. Oh, that's the wrong one. All right, hold on. Boop. I want to be legs hole. Right on the top of that one. Hue saturation. Clip it down. Go to the blue channel. And now move the hue around. And nothing happens again. I blame Parker. Oh, that's because I don't have it on the right one. There we go. I blame myself. And I clip it right here. I know, and now I can change the shoe color. See what I mean? Woo! Some purple shoes. Look like a Joker. Green socks.
Green pants.
That looks a lot stronger on your screen. That's true, though. So let's take the green here. And let's see what that does if I do this. Nope, not much. So it's not green. Could be cyans. Nope, not much there. So let's go back to blues. I legit think that is something else. I don't know what that is. Because, yeah, I definitely see green there, but it doesn't look green like anything else. But I can actually go in here to the smart object, and I can use these as well, and so I could take the saturation of any greens or yellows down, or even aquas and blue. And I don't want to do blue too much. Hit OK. Let's see if that fixes anything. Yeah, a little bit. Evened it out a little bit. That is weird though, right there. So if I wanted to, again, change the shirt of this one over here, just double click on it, go back into my hue here, and change it to any of these here. I can do it via the, as you just saw, via the smart object, or I like a little bit better because of this. I do like the idea of going into the hue saturation because I can target it a little bit better. So I can just clip it in, create a hue saturation layer, go in and switch that hue of the, ooh, this is probably more green, cyan, yellow.
Why is it better to do it in there versus the other?
You get more specific with this one because I can now choose any of these layers here, and I can then take, for example, the other one allowed me to change the hue of, it does very similar things. So if I go in here, and I go down here, see how I have these hues, and I can go from red to red can go from like purplish to orange. So I'm limited. My greens here, for example, go from yellow to cyan, right? Does that make sense? See that? Whereas if I did it here and I go into this one, I can go take the cyan from red, that looks awful, to purple, right? So I can go, and I have a bigger range. Does that make sense to you, bud? Yeah, I have a bigger range if I do it. So now I can limit that range again to, say, these greens here. And I can move those greens around and the cyans around and change the color of the shirt. Maybe the yellows as well. Oh, no, not the yellows. Blues. Does that kind of answer that question there?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, so if we go zoom in here, see I got like a little bit of a weird cyan thing here. I can come into the cyans, and then I can change that a little bit more, make it brighter or darker, saturation, luminance. But let's say I did want to do the yellows here. Watch what happens with the yellows. See how I go crazy there? Let's try this one too. Looking all weird and such. Alright, if I did something there that created an ill effect on the rest of the image, because this is a layer mask right here, I can actually go back in with the brush tool and I can eliminate any of those color shifts. See that? So even though I've created those color shifts, I'm only doing it for the shirt, not for the arm or the head. Does that make sense? Because it's a layer mask is the reason why I do that. So I can come back in here and mess with this again. Add a little bit of this. There we go. Now I've got a tie-dye polo. Who doesn't love a tie-dye polo, right? So there you go. I've got Jack's whole Parker's what is it called? Dismemberment image. Yeah,